Hey, buenos dias, ¿qué pasó, amigos? John's Moto Garage. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we're not in the garage. The format's a little bit different. I'm still on vacation here, and so I'm in beautiful Boise, Idaho, hanging with my bro-in-law and my sister, and I still want to bring you some content. So today I'm going to share with you some photos of one of the first motorcycles that I flipped. I'll share a brief backstory, history on the bike, and some of the important lessons I learned from this experience, and then of course wait till the end. I'll share how much I paid for the motorcycle and how much I ended up selling it for. Before we jump into it, a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, thanks a bunch for all the support and for checking out the channel. If you dig the content and you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe, share with your amigos, and hit me up on Instagram at John's Moto Garage as well, so we can boost that presence. Also, I'm going to be doing a Q&A since I'm on the road and I don't have all the motorcycles at my disposal. I'll be doing the Q&A, and you can leave comments below and questions on this video. In a few days, I'll post the answers if we have good participation. Leave whatever questions you have. I may or may not answer all of them, but I think it'll be a good opportunity to do the Q&A, something a little bit different while I'm traveling on the road. And hopefully the wind isn't too crazy back here where I'm hanging out. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it without further preamble. I'm going to go over the bike, some of the things I like and dislike about the bike, how it came into my possession, and some of the things I learned. And then of course I'll go over how much I paid for it and how much I sold it for. So this was a 2002 or 2003 Yamaha Vstar 1100 Custom, and what had happened is I was searching for used bikes in my local area and I couldn't find any, so I expanded my search out to Tucson, which is like a 2-hour drive from where I'm at, and I found this pretty nice bike, and I reached out to the dude. We came to an agreement on price, and so I jumped in the car with my wifey. We made the trip down there and met up at the bank to check out the motorcycle. I met the dude at the bank. I looked at the bike. Everything was good. Now, one important thing is I always like to check bikes out when they're cold and haven't been started up or warmed up. And in this case, that wasn't what happened. Fortunately, it didn't end up being an issue, but that's just an important thing. If you guys go out to buy bikes, it's always nice if you can check them out before they've been warmed up, especially if the bike's carbureted, because you never know if there could be some issue, if the carbs need to be cleaned out or anything like that. So that was the first takeaway from this initial experience that I had. Secondly, after I checked out the bike and did my test ride, I decided I want it. We go into the bank to buy it, and come to find out the dude doesn't even have the title in his possession. Turns out there's a loan on it at that bank, and that's why he wanted to meet there. And so I had never dealt with paying off a lien or a loan on a motorcycle before. I talked to them. They assure me within 3 to 4 business days the lien will be released and they'll send me the title in the mail. I thought, okay, it's not that bad. I don't have to wait too long. And I thought, I've already put the time and money into driving down here, so sure, let's go ahead and move forward with it. So I bought the bike. Ended up bringing the bike back. You can check out the picture. This was me riding the moto back. No helmet, total squid rookie, as you can see. Young and dumb, as I still am today, so not a whole lot has changed really. But anyway, I got back in one piece. 3-4 days go by and I'm checking the mail, nothing. After about a week, I'm kind of starting to get a little bit concerned. I hit the dude up. He has no idea what's going on. I call the bank. They assure me it'll be in the mail soon enough. Long story short, it ends up taking me like a month before that title arrives and I get it. Now, learning experience number 2 out of this, I was just starting, and that was pretty much all my capital tied up in that motorcycle. So the whole time I'm waiting for this title to come in the mail, that's money that I can't dump into anything else, and it's just sitting there. I can't sell the bike, obviously, because I don't have the title. And so that was another thing that I learned. Finally, I got the title. I get the bike posted to sell it. Now, here's the second thing. You'll note in the pictures this bike has these ape hangers, and when I first saw it, I thought that was pretty cool, but I wasn't sure how the market would be with a motorcycle with ape hangers, because it's not everybody's cup of tea. And sure enough, I had tons of people messaging, interested in the bike, asking if I had the original bars, if I could swap it out. I had a few people come look at the bike, and after sitting on it and trying it out, they said, yeah, you know, ape hangers aren't for me, and they weren't interested. So I learned another thing. When you're purchasing a bike that's a little bit more niche market like that, it really narrows the market and it's a little more challenging to sell. You're just waiting for the right buyer. So again, you've got all your capital tied up in a motorcycle. If you have all the money in the world, it's not a big deal, but if that's all you've got, then you may want to try getting a bike that doesn't necessarily that is more appealing to a broad audience. So that was the second thing, important lesson I learned on that motorcycle. Eventually I did sell the motorcycle and it worked out. So I paid $3,000 for the bike, and I ended up selling it for only $3,500. So I didn't make a ton of money. Once you factor in gas, registration, and all that, I was lucky to walk away with $200 to $300 on that purchase. And for all the headache and the worry and the concern and the opportunity loss that you factor in, honestly, for the financial gain, definitely would not be worth it. I wouldn't do it again. However, if you look at it from the perspective of what I learned as far as the experience goes, I'd say it was well worth it, because I learned a lot from this initial flip that I was able to apply to other purchases. I learned the process more or less of paying off a lien. I learned the importance of getting a bill of sale and all that stuff, because what actually ended up happening when I finally got the title, the dude hadn't signed it because they sent it to me and not to him first. So I ended up dealing with that headache as well. So that was another important thing that I learned. So lots of good things to be learned. Takeaway from this is, if you are going to be doing this type of thing, and this applies across pretty much anything you're doing, not just buying and selling bikes, but if you're jumping into any business venture or learning something new, there's going to be that initial learning curve, and you're going to learn the hard way on some things. Fortunately, in this case, I didn't lose money, and like I said, I was able to learn some important and valuable lessons. Alright, so let's talk the motorcycle itself, Yamaha Vstar 1100s. These are just my personal thoughts and opinions. I actually went on to buy and sell tons of those motorcycles. The 1100, in my opinion, is really great bike for a few reasons. For one, style-wise, I think Yamaha hit the nail on the head. It's got that classic Harley look to it, and it's not over the top. You can get the Vstar Custom with the drag bars, or in this case ape hangers. You can get the Vstar Classic or the Vstar Silverado, which is fully decked out with the saddlebags and the floorboards and the windshield and all that stuff. So the Vstar 1100 I always thought was an awesome motorcycle, and the 1100 was a perfect kind of entry level middleweight cruiser. Enough power to jump on the freeway. It's got the big bike look, but it's not excessively powerful. It's not super heavy. So it was a really good kind of beginner bike for me getting into the larger displacement motorcycles. The bikes sold awesome for the first few years that I bought and sold that style motorcycle. It got to a point though where people no longer were interested in the carbureted cruisers, because all the manufacturers were offering fuel injection. At a certain point, I just noticed people were no longer liking that. They just didn't like it anymore. People would come check out the bike, realize it's carbureted, and they are pretty cold-blooded, and then they'd lose interest. So it's actually been years since I sold a Vstar 1100. The same goes for VTX 1300. Same reason, they're carbureted, not fuel injected, and I found where I live, it was just hard at a certain point to target that market. But aside from that, pretty solid bikes. I liked them. I didn't have a whole lot of complaints aside from the fact that they're carbureted and pretty cold-blooded for being carbureted, even in Arizona. But great bikes, fully loaded, a lot of bike for the money. And so yeah, overall this was the first of many Vstar 1100s that I ended up selling, and again, I learned a ton from the overall experience with this motorcycle. And yeah, there you have it. John's Moto Garage. Like and subscribe if you dig the content. Like I said before, we're going to be doing a Q&A, so leave your questions below. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. Check out some of my other videos. This one, like I said, is different format because I'm on vacation and I don't have access to all my motorcycles. Hit me up on Instagram at John's Moto Garage, and smash the like button if you dig it. We'll hit you guys up on the next one. Adios, nos vemos.